Hello, everyone. All right, so right on time before the 2X event starts this weekend, I wanted to showcase a full SR team, right? So no SSR units whatsoever in order to auto Inferno mode of Terror. Now, the best part about this team is that we are also only using units that everybody's building anyways, right? So Kazuyo, Chiaki the Echo, Cachi the Guard, Fangus, and Valyrian, right? All units that you're going to use everywhere else. Now, to give you the rundown right from the beginning, a couple of things that you have to keep in mind. So this team has to be fast enough. And in this case, we're talking about the speed for your opener, which is Chiaki the Echo, has to be 263. And if she can be even faster than that, even better, right? But the rest of the units, like even Valyrian, which is usually your slower unit, has to be above 200. But for the most part, you're going to want your Cachi the Guard, your Fangus, and your Kazuyo to be at least at 240 speed, right? That's the main part. The other thing that you want to take into consideration is the amount of HP that you want your units to have. Now, there is a different ways that you can achieve this, right? Ideally, unlike my units that are only a 5-star, you can tell that I literally just built them. Hopefully yours, because these are all units that you will use regardless, are probably at 6 stars. Hopefully, if you can get them to 6 stars, it's going to help them with the HP. You want your units to be at least 20,000 HP, each of them. Like that's the get-go. So those are mainly the main requirements, right? Now, when it comes to the actual build of each of the units, so Fangus is your damage dealer in this case because we're using his damage over time, not his actual output of damage. Now, in this case, you ideally would want everything to be at level 5. So, because otherwise he's going to miss his damage over time. He misses it a lot. The only thing that guarantees you landing at least one DOT is his S3, right? And right now, as I have it at level 3, it guarantees it at 100% along with speed down, which is going to be very important to land on the boss. But if you have it at S, again, at level 5, his S3, then the cooldown goes down to 3. With Kazuyo, you're going to be able to use his S3 pretty much every two rounds, right? Every 2 times they go around, he's going to be able to land it. And trust me, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, in terms of the set that he's using, we're using Battle Wield, right, and Swift Rush because you want to increase his chances of following up, right? The more he follows up, the higher chance he has to land a damage over time. And then in terms of effect accuracy, honestly, anything over 180. I've noticed that anything over 180 doesn't, any more than that, doesn't really make a difference. He's still going to miss no matter what. Like, it's pretty crazy, right? Because I've seen, even at 300, I tried it and it still doesn't make a difference. But 180 is kind of like the bare minimum that you need. Now, another thing that you probably have noticed is that we're running Artisan on him. So the name of this game is making sure that you have at least one Artisan ready to go no matter what. And you'll notice that because of the cooldown order and even the speed, how it's set up, that's exactly what's going to happen, right? That's going to allow you for having a unit that even when they're about to get one shot, or let's say they get full HP depleted, right, with one of the attacks and they're surviving just because of a Valyrian, it is going to allow you to immediately after run a shield on them, helping you help your entire team survive, right? Because we literally cannot have anybody die in this thing or they're dead, all of them. And then when we take a look at Cachi the Guard, he's the only unit that we're running Gigabit. Now, the reason why is because Cachi the Guard, you bring him for 3 things. He is going to provide you with immunity, right? And this is going to help you not get the death down buff that the enemy applies, right? On top of that, also not apply wound. So the very little bit of heal that you can get, you can do it. Now, if you were able to get this to level 5, right, even better. That way you don't need as much effect accuracy as usually you probably seen. Now, in my case, you notice mine is only a level 4 and I only have 159 accuracy, and it works every single time. What you really want in this case, it is his S2 to be at level 5 so that you can apply that turn down and that speed down every single time and also reduce the cooldown. So these guarantees, again, thanks to Kazuyo, that he is using his S2 every 2 times, right? Right around. And because of Gigabit, right, which pushes the turn meter up every time all of these dudes go, right? It's gonna pretty much just cycle through every single time. Every single time he's gonna be using his S2 and also in this case his S1, which is crucial, which is also why we have Battle Wield instead of anything else, because we want him to also attack with the S1 as often as possible so that he can apply that crit down. If you were able to make this like just fully skill up Cachi, again, his S1, his S2 to level 5, and his S3 to level 4, you're going to have constant crit down and constant turn meter down on the boss, literally over and over, essentially, right? So at level 5, this is a 2-turn duration, and at level 3, it increases the chance of landing it to 20%. With follow-up, trust me, you're increasing your odds highly, which is what we're using Gigabit on him. Alrighty. Now, in terms of speed, once again, see, he's a 244 right now. If you can even make him faster than that, even better, right? Now, in terms of your opener, he's going to be Cachi the Echo. And again, her speed is 263. That is the exact amount of speed that you want. If you want to outspeed Terror, you're never going to outspeed the hand. Like, no matter what, you're not going to outspeed the hand. So at 263, it guarantees that you at least go before Terror. If all of your units can be above 263, then again, you're making your runs easier. But if you were going to choose one of these units to be the fastest, of course, you want Chiaki the Echo so that she can push the turn meter on everybody else. Now, you also want her to be as bulky as possible because she is one of the units that you don't want to die along with Fangus. But again, getting it a Fangus up above 20,000 gets a little rough if he's not 6-star. So now we're also using, again, Artisan in this case. And if you notice, I have a full-time weave set on her. I've tried full-time weave on everybody. You only need 1, maybe 2 if you want to just like increase a little bit your odds. Anything higher than that doesn't really make a difference, I've noticed. And then Swift Rush, of course. That's what you want. The effect accuracy on her, it means nothing. Now, if you were able to get a fully skilled up, again, and I know these are like, whoa, who the heck is going to have all these things skilled up? I get it. But if you had a fully skilled up Chiaki the Echo with her passive at level 5 and her S1 at level 5 as well, right? Pretty much what you're guaranteeing is Ave Maria on your units at all times, which is going to push the turn meter, right, by 5% on all of them. And then you're also going to be able to purify them all the time. So avoiding the death down, even when there is no immunity from Cachi. So that's why, again, the higher they are, the better build. You're going to guarantee the runs. And any of them that you can do it, it's going to make a difference. And then we have Valyrian, right? This is the only unit that really literally, as it is, just works, and she's just as pretty. If you can get more HP, right, even better. I had to kind of like, to make my Cachi the Echo, Chiaki the Echo bulkier, I had to distribute the shields. But with this, she works just fine. And then a little bit more defense. So what I did was I added some defense pieces from the to the HP ones that I took away, essentially. So that increased the shield, but it still gave me enough HP for distribution. Now you want her to be above 200 speed because you want her to be able to cycle through, again, her S3 as often as possible. And if she doesn't go, she's not going to cycle through, right? So being the slowest like we usually do in this game, because it's long term, this doesn't work. You need her to be faster, as fast as possible. And then Kazuyo, you need her S3 at a bare minimum to be level 5. If you don't worry about this spell here, it doesn't matter with the dispel. Now, if you have her S2 at level 5 as well, which is going to not only reduce the cooldown, but if it was a level 3 as well, then you could focus on accuracy on Kazuyo. But right now, as it is as S1, more likely than not, Terror is going to have not just his immunity, but also death up to start with. So you're not going to cleanse it. So it doesn't really matter unless this is level 3 or, level 5, I guess, to reduce the cooldown so you can use it over and over. What really matters most, if you can do the same thing that I would with Cachi the Guard, is having Battle Wield on her with as much bulkiness as you can in order to land the speed down on the boss over and over. That's really what would matter here the most, right? So in a way, her S1 at level 5, it's more important because it also increases the duration of the speed down on the boss as well. And we're also using Artisan. Now, this is another unit that you want her to be as fast as possible, literally as often as you can. So if you were to prioritize, right, so Chiaki the Echo to be the fastest, honestly, Kazuyo to be the second fastest so that she applies speed up, right, on your entire team with her S3 and also the cooldown reduction so that your units can go every single time. Because again, we're not relying on this spell whatsoever. So effect accuracy doesn't matter. Now, bulkiness on her, 1,000%. So we have 4 artisan shells and 1 gigabit in this case, right? Now, crucial here, again, if you can get Cachi the Guard S1 to level 5, again, having that crit down on the boss at all times is going to help immensely. Trust me, it's going to be the difference between you surviving an extra 3-4 rounds, literally. All right, so let's go ahead and do the run so that you guys can take a look at how it works. Now, like I said, this has a 50-60% chance of success, so it's not going to be every single time. So we could even lose right now. But you'll notice that every single time we get very, very close, at least, to him dying. And like I said, the difference here is only a couple more HP points, or if you can make them 6 stars, right? So let me slow this down. So you notice that I haven't cleansed anything, right? Who went first was, in this case, Chiaki the Echo. She pushed everybody, right? And then immediately followed by Kazuyo, and she applies the speed up on everybody immediately as well, right? So you see these are all the buffs that we have. So that is what's gonna help you also outspeed the right hand more often than not, so that when the right hand uses speed up on the boss, it doesn't push it to have him go before your units. So very, very important, right? So there we go. Again, we're raw dogging this thing right now, so it's not about really the first couple of turns. You're just gonna survive. If you get, again, Kazuyo with her S2 to dispel 2 buffs, which is at level 3, then at that point you could invest more on her effect accuracy so that you can cleanse it. Because if you were able to take advantage of these 2 whole turns that I have to pretty much withstand damage for, then you pretty much guaranteeing the runs as well, right? So, but in this case, we're just, again, raw dogging this thing. All right, so we're fine. Everybody survived. That's why I say at least 20,000 HP is the bare minimum here, because this is what's gonna happen. All right, so we have 1 damage over time already applied. See how I want to show you. So you notice that there is already gonna be a artisan ready to apply its shield immediately. See, so it's 1, 3, and now cleared again and used it. So at all times, I have an artisan applying shields every single time. All right, so cool down again. See, my Valyrian already was able to use her S3 for a 2nd time. Usually, you don't see that thing getting applied for like a while. That's why the speed on her, it's going to matter big time. All right, now hopefully we land the damage over time. There we go. We landed it both with the attack and the follow-up. All right. Shield and her meter push. So again, if see the crit down, this is immensely. Look at the difference in the amount of damage just because of the crit down, right? And of course, we have a billion shields applied. But this is why it's so important to have Fangus cool down at level at 3, right? Which is his S3 to be at level 5. Because this is usually the opposite. You have like half of the damage over time applied, right? But with the S3, you're pretty much guaranteeing it. And with the crit, right, see, you're not taking as much damage as you usually would. If we had somebody that could extend those buffs as well, but again, that's too much asking. At that point, we'll need a 6 unit. All right, so there we go again. Per meter push. Now, see where he has the 3 right here? 4 is what things get real grim. When he has the 4th buff applied. At that point, you know, that's when the 50-50 happens. But if you're able to bring him down to about, let's say, 30% HP before his 4th hand is applied, you're pretty much, you know that you are gonna win the run. Unless your Fangus instantly dies after that. See, Valyrian has been able to use her S3 3 times by now. Most fights, because we put her to be so slow, she usually doesn't get the chance, which again is why it matters. Now you see how every attack is also applying speed down on the enemy, which is helping your units go before the stupid hands every single time. There we go, Cachi the Guard. Now don't get fooled, even though you see everybody over here fully shield up, it looks like they could never get killed. Oh, it can happen. It can happen just as easy. There we go, the rage right there, boom, but nobody got killed just yet. Going again. Chiaki the Echo. Boom. All right. Turn meter down for the boss. Damage over time. Wow, Fangus this time around is coming in. It's actually doing its thing. Which is why I say if I had that S3, man, there would have been like 3 more DOTs that he could have applied. There we go. Crit down again. That's what matters. Big time. That crit down is very, very important. There we go. Cooldown reduction. All right. Invincibility applied just in case. Shield up. Per meter push. Defense up and extending all the buffs. There we go. Apply the damage. Boom. And we got this in the bag. Let's go. All right. So this is easy peasy at this point. All right. So like I mentioned, again, I know that I was a little bit out of order there, but if you follow, again, the minimum stats is what I showed you right there to help you, you know, again, 50, 60%. If you can upgrade your units to 6 stars, increasing their bulkiness, right? That's going to help you increase your success rate to 70, 80%. This is actually a perfect time during 2x event. Is the only time that I would recommend running some investigations, right? So that you can actually upgrade your units. But as you can see, boom, we won. We won. Anyways, it's a pretty long run. As you can see, right? 4 minutes. Sometimes it can be 5 minutes if Fangus decides that he's not going to apply DOT. But again, I think that is solved simply by getting his S3 to level 5. And if you can get, again, Cachi also is S1 to level 5 as well, you're pretty much guaranteeing the run. All right, guys. So we're going to try to do this also with Doki Doki. Believe it or not, I think I almost have it. I think they just need a little bit more bulk. It's a long ass run, but I think I almost have it. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys have a pretty good weekend with the 2x. Don't burn out yourself and still spend some time with family. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.